If you are finished on load, show clear. Are you ready? Stand by. Are you ready? Stand by. Finished. Unload and show clear. Clear, cylinder closed, and holster. Stand by. You are finished. Unload, show clear. Are you ready? Stand by. Finished. Unload, show clear. Stand by. Finished. Unloading.
Well, so much for that
Don't
one.
matter at this point,
Yeah.
right? Finished. Unload, show clear. Cylinder closed, and holster.
So we'll tackle the biggest news first. My gun worked. After I springed up after the first stage to stop the light strikes, no problems at all. It's amazing what that does for my confidence. Smoothness and consistency are key in a double action trigger, and I've got those back now, which is great. So next match, I'm going to try an 11-pound hammer spring, the one I mentioned, I think, in a title card. I had a 10-pound spring in the gun and put a 12-pound spring in because I left the 11-pound springs here at home after. Practice suggested that the 10-pound was enough, and the match then proved it wasn't. Well, what are you going to do? So, there was also a reload flaw. On the very first stage, I pointed out such a flaw in my moving reloads, and here it is in 1/4 speed. So if you cut it, I've got the gun pointed down at a shallower angle as I'm bringing the moon clip to it. Then I drop it down to a steeper angle when the moon clip arrives. if I get the gun pointed further down at the start, I won't have to worry about doing that afterward. I'll save a bit of time and maybe have better luck with hitting those reloads on the run too. I just have to be sure not to, muzzle my leg when I'm running. I was shooting like a coward on partials. I was aiming well off of the hardcover and or no shoots, and that translated into a lot of Charlies. So I need to practice a little bit of confidence in aiming close onto those alpha zones, and work that up in dry fire and live fire. On the plus side, I feel like my movement is getting better. Especially on the stage named Larry, I was pretty aggressive shooting into positions, and although I did miss an opportunity to shoot out of them. So that's something to work on, but I'm pleased with how that's coming along. Now for the stage plan breakdown. I think I mentioned I was going to do this too. So stage 6, Tight Squeeze, was an interesting case study for how I've been tackling stages with the wheel gun, and why it usually looks a little bit different than what I do with a low cap semi-auto, even with a single stack major gun, which also holds 8. Maybe next year. But anyway, it boils down to this. My revolver reload takes at least a second and a half, and usually more like 2 or 3 seconds shot to shot, unless the targets are at powder burn range. Semi-auto reloads are fast enough and easy enough that you can almost ignore them in stage planning, which I've heard Ben Steger suggest on, I think it was the Shoot Fast podcast. So that's not the case with Revolver, or at least not yet for me. If I have to take 2 or 3 seconds to reload, I might as well move my feet to make these follow-up shots easier and reduce the risk of a miss, which would then require more reloading flat-footed. So I guess we'll take a look at a diagram of the stage. I drew this one to match how it looked on the ground better than the stage brief diagram did. I heard that there were some issues with getting the stage diagrammed in the stage brief to do what the match director wanted, so this is the one we ended up with instead. I thought it was a pretty good one. So the fastest stage plans looked kind of like this. From the start, go up the left side, engaging as much as possible. There's these two paper, the middle 2 paper, and 3 of the back steel. These guys are out of sight. So after that, you book it back around the stage, engaging these guys on the move as you come up into this position, and you finish off with these 5 shots, 2 on each paper and 1 on the steel. So I couldn't do that. If I go up the left and engage these 4 paper targets, I've got a reload to do then, and it's pretty much flat-footed because I'm basically here to get the shot off on that target. So following that, I'd have to engage the middle 2 paper and then these 3 steel with that reload. Then I have to book my way back from this way, reload again, because I'll be out on this way. And I've got 9 shots on this side of the stage, these 4 paper targets and this 1 steel. So I'd have another flat-footed reload there. I'd have to be kind of tricky with getting this one ready like I'm around the corner. It's a lot to think about. So what I ended up doing, I considered 2 plans. They both start the same way. So at the beep, I engage the targets on the right first, then the targets on the left as I'm moving up this side. That kind of clears the back of the stage and lets me just think about this sub-stage. So plan A continues like this. Come to this side, and then I guess I missed. There's a reload here, and then I engage these 4 paper targets, the 4 leftmost ones. So plan A continues with me reloading as I run around the front of the stage to right about here, where you can see these 2 paper and all 4 plates. So if I shot perfectly, I could have cut out this position that I took in the middle altogether, the position in plan B. But that would require perfection, and there were a lot of partial targets and a lot of steel, and although I did go 1 for 1 on the steel, which felt good, the partial targets are a bit trickier, and as it happened, I did actually need extra shots. So what plan B does is insert a position here in the middle. As I get to about here, I'll have finished the reload, so I can just kind of step back over the fault line. The plan was to engage these 4 from this position, and then engage the 4 steel from here. If I went 1 for 1 on the steel, I would have just hopped around without reloading and finished the stage on those ones. Since I needed makeup shots, I took the reload coming to here to get me a fresh cylinders to work with. I took my 2 makeup shots and my 4 steel. Then I had to reload again over here, which gave me a makeup shot on this one. Yeah, so I guess I kind of already explained my reasoning for why. It's easier. Well, a stage plan that demands perfection on a stage like this, where the shooting is not, trivial. It's not super hard, but there are at least some difficult bits to it. That kind of stage plan is dangerous when you have to be spot on. So a little bit shooting like a coward here too, I guess, in that planning to stop there meant that I was kind of planning on not being perfect, but as it turns out, that was the right thing to do. So one way I plan to measure my improvement as I go along in this sport and in this division is by measuring how much I feel I have to edit stage plans to fit the revolver. And I'm hoping that as I get better, I can come closer and closer to how I would shoot them with, say, a production or a limited gun. Well, that's all I've got for this match, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.